Attention, fans of Unfinished Business Television. We're thrilled to announce our proud partnership with Super 7, the ultimate destination for collectors and pop culture enthusiasts alike. When you shop at Super 7, you're not just getting amazing collectibles, you're supporting us. Use our exclusive link, super7.com/AJEPYX, and remember to enter the promo code AJEPYX at checkout. Your purchases help us bring you even better content, sharper production, and the quality you deserve. So what are you waiting for? Visit super74.com/AJEPYX today. Use promo code AJEPYX, and let's keep the good times rolling here at Unfinished Business Television.
You're looking at a factory town that somehow became a gang town. The headquarters to a gang called the Rebels. All that money? For basketball?
Send back for the hustle, how much?
Why, dear Lord, did you snatch this dear boy away from his precious mother?
Is that good for business? For a $300 hustle?
We're not behind you on this.
He was going to be a big star. He had a plan just like you.
You should have come back once in a while, Johnny. That's all you all left.
It's up to you to decide whether or not your neighborhood is worth fighting for.
If they fight one of us, they've got to fight all of us.
You want something, brother?
This is my son, man. And where does that leave you, Spyro? You're dead, man.
They're getting ready to retaliate.
Why don't you come and help us?
We can't trust him.
I ain't got no love for anyone. I'm a businessman, my brothers and sisters.
Let's see if we can't stop this thing.
You gonna negotiate with these punks?
If the old man keeps his mouth shut, we'll call it done.
You sell us out to him?
Well, look like the Reverend did his job, huh?
Won't you just run home and pray?
Well, I guess we better do ours.
Fred Williamson.
Get out of my face, man.
Jim Brown.
Let me give you a hand.
And Pam Grier.
All right, I owe you one, okay?
Oh, I heard that before.
You will get hurt. If I don't hurt you, my friends will. The original Rebels. I'm back home, Blood, and I'm working with him.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
Happy Black History Month, because that's right, we still celebrate it here. Here in Unfinished Business Television's Time. Can you dig it? I am your host, Jeff Galashaw. Unfinished B2, Projector J1. I go by many names. But with me, as always, is my main man, Andre Joseph of AJ Epic Productions.
It's the word, man. It's the word, man.
Yes, we're going to be talking about a film most of y'all should be familiar with. 1996's original Gangstas, starring Fred Williamson, Jim Brown, Pam Grier, Paul Winfield, Robert Forster, Wings Hauser. It's even got Godfrey, the stand-up comedian, in his first on-screen role, and before he grew his hair out. We have Charles Napier. What the fuck? We got, for those of you who remember the 1990s hip-hop scene, Drew Down as an assassin in this film. We got Weezy, Isabel Sanford, not Little Wayne. The real Weezy is, we got Richard Roundtree, Ron O'Neal, fucking Braxton from the JP Ponto is one of our villains in this film, Christopher B. Duncan. Now, this was Andre's pick for a deep dive. Andre, why did you pick it? And tell us about your history with the film.
Well, I picked it because it's Black History Month, and we actually met Mr. Williamson at the Urban Action Showcase last November, and obviously, people do criticize him for being a master egotist. To me, he is an inspiration for guys like me to take action on ourselves, to make films and not have to deal with the studio bullshit. Granted, you could talk whatever you would say about the quality of his films, but they always have entertainment value, and he does do very well overseas. So you can't ignore that fact. And he was very much good with me, good with Jeff. So, I'd love to have him on the show while we still have him if he ever sees this. So this is going to shock people, but this movie was actually my introduction to Blaxploitation in 1996. Yes, I never saw Shaft or Superfly or any. I only heard of this stuff from my dad because he would tell me about the soundtracks to Shaft and Superfly and Black Caesar and
Wait, you
obviously.
never did you see I'm Gonna Get You Sucker?
I remember the TV spots and I tried to avoid because I was always freaked out when Jim Brown's toe starts imploding. So I was like, I did for a long time, I didn't want to see it. Then once I got into all that stuff and I saw Living Color, then I watched it and loved it. And I met Antonio Fargas years ago too. Awesome. Um, so yeah, this was my introduction because I remember the TV spots where they're like stars of Black Caesar and Shaft and Superfly and Foxy Brown. They're all going to be in this one movie, and I knew nothing about who these people were. Yet the imagery of a film that looks like Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, and it's all those type of characters being taken on by those old school Blaxploitation stars, there was something interestingly appealing about it, and I didn't know what it was. So I did not see it in the theater. I waited till it was on video and I rented it, and it's a guilty pleasure. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's fantastic. It's a Larry Cohen production, clearly produced by Fred Williamson, and has the Fred Williamson aesthetics of him. He has to get off the jet. He has to have a cigar. He can't die. He has to be an ex-football star. Gets shot in the head. Like, if you see any Fred Williamson movie, you notice the same patterns with his characters and what happens with his characters. Um, and essentially, it was like an updated version of Three the Hard Way, but it's 5 people instead of 3. So yeah, you basically have a they shot in Gary, Indiana, the home of the Jacksons, but also the home of Fred Williamson. And Gary has been a once promising city that has really, it used to be bad and it got really bad because of all the gangs and all the violence that takes place. So you have a couple things going on, like Pam Grier, who still lives in the community. Her son gets killed by this gang after a bad bet with the 2 gangs, Christopher B. Duncan and the other dude I'm blanking on right now, but he's been in every like action movie, usually as a stunt guy. Uh, and that happens at the same time as Fred Williamson's father gets beat up in his store because he's the one that called the police on the shooting. So he shows up in town to find out what went down. At the same time, Jim Brown, it turns out he and Pam Grier had this relationship. So that was his son who got killed. So they band together. They try to get the community together to take on the gang. And among the community members, you have Ron O'Neal, Superfly himself, playing one of the guys who doesn't want any part of it till the 3rd act. And you have Richard Roundtree is like, I guess he has like an appliance store in the town. He only has 2 big scenes, but essentially it's like, hey, call me if you need help. And then he shows up and helps out in the end. So unfortunately, they're not in it for most of it, but they're still a welcome presence regardless. But yeah, these guys at their age are all badasses. Pam Grier is a badass, and the gangs are played to be living cartoon characters, especially the I guess KO, that's the character. Yeah. His part was supposed to be a lot smaller, than they beefed it up because he stood out so much. But he was like the most annoying character you wanted to see him get his ass kicked. So that he kind of worked at his part. The Word Man, Bink, who by the way comes from Staten Island, he's been he's been in jail many times that I know for a fact. His acting is terrible. I'm just gonna say, and I know I gotta protect myself here, but it's just like, especially when they catch him snooping up the community center as they're plotting to go up against the gang, and he tries to get this whole sympathy speech for why he should be let go, and it looks so staged and so wooden. I mean, granted he's a kid, but come on, this is horrible. Like, he didn't even get rehearsal time. They expected everybody to just be their natural selves, and it just doesn't play. And it was the last major Orion Pictures release because they went bankrupt years earlier. They kind of had some credit to get some movies out, but this was one of the ones that unfortunately Deep Six to see before they got bought by MGM. And yeah, I'm not going to say it's a good movie. It clearly has a lot of problems, but it is entertaining as fuck because of the legends involved and just seeing them kick these younglings' asses. It's like, I'd like to see that again if they were still doing it and some of these guys were still alive. But that was the last time they were all together. So, that's the only thing that makes it worthwhile. What's your history with original gangsters, Jeff?
Well, I had seen more Blaxploitation before I had seen this film. But I mean, I remember when it came out, I knew I wasn't going to go see it in theaters, but I did want to see it just for the cast involved. And like you, when it came out video DVD, I did rent it. And I remember, like when I first watched it, it's rough around the edges, but I thought it was okay. I thought it was a fitting tribute because this was before like Quentin Tarantino was bringing back actors from that era and they were becoming famous. But like after this, you started seeing them more in character roles and stuff like music videos. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg would always cast them somewhere in the music videos. Well, watching this film, I mean, also just from this film, that's where Quentin Tarantino got the idea to cast Pam Grier and Jackie Brown because he thought she was so good here. I mean, she has the most dramatic role because she actually loses a son, and gets revenge and has to, I guess, come to grips with an ex-lover boyfriend and all that. This was really, other than I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, the only time later in life that Jim Brown really played action and imposing in a movie. And, he notoriously did not stay too many days for filming. So that's why he comes in like halfway in the film and then is like, it originally they had to like, I guess, speed up his scenes because he had what was it? He had to go to Philadelphia for a rally. So like all the action scenes with him in it, they had to like film all in one day. I think that's also maybe what hurts the film a little is the Ron O'Neal and Richard Roundtree kind of are like special guest stars in this film overall. Even though Ron O'Neal seems to be the first person who really wants to like, yeah, let's stand up to the gas. But oh, you just gonna leave. So whatever, sucker. I just find it funny. Half the film they keep talking about how old Jim Brown and Fred Williamson are. When you look at their gang, and it's like, you motherfuckers are the same age. Especially the other co-leader of the gang, who's not Christopher B. Duncan, Damien. Like, I'm like, man, you might be older than that. What are you talking about? And his stupid like, yeah, your dad used to give me a little slack of below. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is this like
He made me laugh so much because he's trying to be all gangster throughout the movie, but then when he has to confront the other rival gangs, he's trying to be all like, English and polite. We've had a very established relationship.
It's like, oh, now you read a book? And the arms dealers are Mexican? I'm like, what? It's like, maybe they work for a cartel. You just gonna shoot them like that? It's just this movie's all over the place. I didn't notice until rewatching it this time when Fred Williamson has the two guys in the headlock and they're supposed to be buddy. They're like throwing their punches so light at him. I'm just like, I know this is where it feels like that Mad TV sketch where they do all those old Rudy Ray Moore scenes. So it's like again, I'm like, Does everybody work for the gang in this town? Since you got even old men, like, yeah, this whatever territory, motherfucker. And I'm just like, dude, you look like you need your insulin. So what are you sitting here threatening anybody?
I'd never understood Paul Winfield playing the preacher, and he's like trying to play both sides of, he cares about the community, but then he thinks they need to make peace with the gang, and then plays them at the end. I mean, obviously, we know Paul Winfield. He was kind of a flamboyant character, but there was some things they probably could have done some rewrites on with him.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be rewritten in this movie. But yeah, and not to mention, how the hell are we supposed to tell which gang is which?
That was the other problem.
Yeah, because like I guess the big gang that's in the other part of town. What? By the way they dress? Because they just dress a little more like East Coast, whereas the main gang they're facing, I don't know, everything seems to be sleeveless for half of them.
And then you have the friend of Pam Grier's kid that is like in and out of the movie all throughout. Like one minute he's like trying to help the older characters, and then he disappears. Then he shows up in third act. He's got the sniper rifle. Then he gets shot. Spoiler alert. And they don't really say if he's dead or not.
Nope, we just have Pam Grier hovering over him, and then what was it? Drew Down coming and like, oh yeah, I'm the one who killed your son, and then she gets Hulk Hogan strength and stabs him. Spoiler alert. But that's how silly this film is. And Richard Roundtree has the Chuck Norris role from the
that's kind of what it's like the early Expendables.
Exactly. Like all he needed was to have the Shaft music play as soon as he came in. That was the only thing that was missing. And
they thought they didn't do I Prefer the Shaft.
Okay, because I was gonna say. Now, but here's my question. Do you think if Fred Williamson had played the Bernie Casey role in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker like he was supposed to, do you think he would have even bothered making this eventually?
I think he still would have done it.
Okay, because I was wondering, like, would that have maybe put him in another stratosphere? So he would have felt like, you know what? I don't really need to make another Blaxploitation film with Jim Brown, because I'm like, we were all together and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
He was too busy making Black Cobra movies.
Yeah, he should have taken I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, but his loss, Bernie Casey's gay. But like I said, this is one of those guilty pleasure movies. It's bad, certainly on many aspects, but I think just for the cast alone that they managed to get together, I really respect the film for that. So I can't really not recommend it. I mean, if you're really into Blaxploitation films or any of the actors in it, I would recommend this film. But if other than that, you're not going to find much to like if you're not into that. I mean, you got all the white characters who are just basically impotent. Robert Forrester, Wings Hauser, Charles Napier, Shaheem's horrible death scene where he's supposed to have his neck snap. And
oh yeah, that was so bizarre.
and a sweet prince. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Again, where's that Shakespeare shit coming from, man? Could we at least get a scene of him just sitting around, maybe reading a book, reading Shakespeare for this shit to make sense later in the film? Like, is that an infamous cut scene? And like you said, Larry Cohen is the listed director, but it seems like Fred Williamson did most of the directing, and Larry Cohen was just maybe there to help advise him through it.
Fred was cutting corners, and you can tell between having to work around Jim Brown's schedule, recycling footage for RoboCop 2 and colors for big action sequences because they couldn't afford certain explosions and drive-by shootouts. And apparently it was so freaking hot in Gary because they shot in the summer. Isabella Stanford passed out, and Paul Winfield had some health issues. He almost had a heart attack. And apparently Fred Williamson didn't want to pay for air conditioners. And yeah, I forced by Larry Cohen, pay for some fucking air conditioners.
Then, and see, that's when I start thinking of Fred Williamson as Chris's father on Everybody Hates Chris. You want me to spend $2? That's $2 worth of air conditioning.
Oh, and then they use real gang members in this movie, and apparently they were fed famous Amos cookies for their cooperation.
Well, I mean, if Don Cornelius weren't they could have got some KFC at the least. Wait, they didn't shoot up the production, so they must have liked them damn cookies. It's the I'm surprised it was like Fred's second wife had to do all the catering for the movie or something like that. I'm just wondering, you got Wheezy. What was Sherman Helmsley too expensive to play his father? So they could have had a Jefferson's reunion. Because I'm like,
Great moment in the church.
I'm like, man, I'm just like, it was just weird. If anything, Isabel Sanford is the one who stands out because, like, you look at the cast list, it's like, why is Isabel Sanford in this movie? I don't remember her in any Blaxploitation, though she would have been good in one as like a madam or something, or a police chief with that voice. But like I said, I like the film. It's like, it's not good, but it's fun, you know? I would say, like, definitely, if you want to learn about Fred Williamson and his filmmaking, watch this movie. You know, because I am like, I just,
I don't tried to make a sequel. He tried to make a sequel that he was trying to fund through Kickstarter years ago, but he wasn't using the same characters.
So then how's it a sequel?
I don't know. It was a sequel in title, but the director goes on a podcast and says, oh no, he's not playing John Brookman.
So then why does he just call it something else? Call it
I know.
Or maybe, I guess, it sells better if people think it's a sequel. And
he was going to get Bernie Casey to replace Ron O'Neal and Bo Stevenson as the bad guy.
Here's my thing. I like he has like Ron O'Neal was the problem. Look. No, it was probably like he wanted rehearsal time.
I was a serious fucking actor. That's my Superfly works.
Well, that's not how Fred Williamson works. You got to be ready day up. He's like, fuck you, Ron O'Neal.
Well, there was a scene in the movie. He supposedly, they had shot a scene and he came back the next day to reshoot the scene with a different car. It's like, that's not the same car we shot with yesterday. Oh no, the guy that we borrowed from wouldn't let me borrow the top.
Okay. Yeah. It's like, hey, but he got me. That's the main thing.
I mean, hey, bootstraps.
It was Drew down on the soundtrack.
I don't know. I mean, the soundtrack was like the top 49 of the Billboard charts.
I'm just like, did Shaim have a track on?
Maybe that was their compensation. I don't know.
Yes, he's like, I'll come up with my own theme music. I'm the word man. He's the word man. I like this little scooter. I just like that he just thought, hey, all I need is 20 grand. I'm going to go to Seattle.
Yeah, why don't you just leave where you had a chance, you fuck?
He wanted to see how this all played out. When you helped set this big deal up, like,
what's that the deal? You got paid? Get the fuck out of there.
And my thing is, okay, he's living on the street. He couldn't use some of that money to find a hotel room? Hey, it's Gary, Indiana. It's not going to be that expensive for a hotel. And you got 20 large in your pocket. Or, you know, Fred Williamson, you could offer to put him up, or any of the other characters could have offered. Is like, they're like, nah.
They would Paul Whitfield, but that would be a whole different movie.
You just keep making off Mr. Paul Winfield, man.
I like Gordon's War. It's a good movie from the 70s.
I like White Dog.
I refuse to watch White Dog.
Well, would you rather, it's not a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. Which one is the one with Larry B. Scott? Where he's a father figure to him. And
I don't remember. It might be that one.
I don't remember because I keep thinking a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich is a Richard Pryor. And so wait, which one was the one where he's with Margot Kid or Richard Pryor?
Some kind of hero.
Oh, okay. So it might be a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. So, because I always thought that was the title of that So, yeah, we should do a deep dive on all of these stuff we're talking about that have nothing to do.
Well, I know one of the actors from that sandwich movie.
Well, ask him to call Larry B. Scott.
I don't think they're that close.
And so, Larry B. Scott, we're still waiting. We're still
Come on, dude. We want to talk to you. We're not going to make fun of you.
exactly. We obviously have seen your work and most of it. So, come on. But anyway, any last thoughts or facts about original Gangstas?
Yeah, Larry Cohen felt that a black director should have done the movie, but Fred insisted since they had done Black Caesar and Hell Up in Harlem.
Well, that was
And
one of his best movies.
Fred did go on to say that even though the movie he said worldwide it made $40 million, but he never saw a penny of it because of Orion's bankruptcy.
Oh, damn. And so it's all for naught. You could have still spent a little more money.
It opened up against Twister and pretty much got killed that weekend.
Of all the movies. But see, at least I remember original Gangsters fondly over Twister, and which I don't remember that fondly. So I guess original Gangsters, it was like we need more Helen Hunt in this.
Helen Hunt's the villain, the real villain.
No, it would have been Bill Paxton as the lieutenant governor. If I was the whole time in a real estate scheme.
Yeah, I mean, had it not been for Twister and True Lies, that's probably the part he would have played.
He could have. Hey, you could still discuss it with Fred. Original Gangsters too. I mean, we can't get Bill Paxton, but William Sadler's still around.
Yeah, but everybody else is going. You just have Fred and Pam. That's it. They had to dig up 80s. Like Billy D. Williams will have to get off his cane.
You need a Wingshauser.
I'm talking about black people, not white people.
Wingshauser's still alive.
I'm talking about black original gangsters, not white exploitation gangsters.
Well, you can't get Isabel Sanford, but you can't get Marla Gibbs. And
yeah, but for a day, I don't think she would do more than one day.
They killed the wrong person's great grandmother. I'll be like, yeah, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, Drew Down got killed. So did Christopher. They're twins who now have eye patches.
Oh, I didn't know Drew Down died.
Well, his character.
Sorry, Drew Down.
Drew Down's cursing you out right now with his gold fronts. I'd be like, yes, they're like, how dare you diss us? We was doing a favor. And hey, you could get Tyron Turner. He's still around working.
Yeah, he's not doing anything. He's probably working at a bodega.
Damn, I don't think it's that bad, but okay. He was in that Hillary Swank, with the guy with the eyes, and erotic thriller.
Angel Eyes? Oh no, not Angel Eyes. No fucking no.
It wasn't a good film, but I remember I was like, oh, Tyron Turner, man, I haven't seen you in decades. But I'm like, you could do that. You just got to take the new, I guess, hood movie guys and then make it a heroic film. Hey, Michael Jai White will be there sleeveless either way. You know?
So like an Expendables, but with all the hood movie characters would be like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Mario Van Peebles.
You could maybe get Omar Gooding.
Yeah, Omar, get Snoop, get them all.
Ray J3.
Ray J, Lawrence Tate.
I don't know. Lawrence Tate might be expensive. He was like, hey, I was on power. I don't need. You could probably get, let's say, I'm shit. Now
somebody from Blood In, Blood Out.
Shit, Terrence Howard probably beg you for the job.
Yeah, you still gotta pay the IRS.
And Tar GP Henson.
No, she doesn't have to pay the IRS.
No, but I'm just saying, she'll take it.
Sad state of affairs, though.
Unfortunately. But, I mean, on the plus side, Terrence Howard would be your Nicolas Cage in original Gangstas too. It's going to be an unhinged performance, but he's somehow going to have a southern accent for no reason.
Any Maine.
Be like, you can't take me down, baby. I'm like, you know this is a modern movie, right? We're not doing that. Whatever you say, baby. It's just like, oh man. So anyway, back to the original. Other than trying to pick original Gangstas 2, it's which I mean, if it is a sequel but not with any of the characters, you don't have to worry about getting anybody back.
Oh, another thing I learned from Fred Williamson: learn German, they will cut you a check. Learn Italian and eat their food, they will cut you a check.
I don't think it's that hard to eat Italian food, so you just got to master the language part.
Exactly.
So, anything else to say about original Gangstas?
It was a big hit on Stars Network.
Well, I mean, come on. No, for the people who didn't pay for it, those DVD or the theater or the video cassette, it's like, wait, finally, can just watch it as is. I don't really have to pay for the service, and I can just watch this movie. I'm surprised it wasn't like a UPN all the time.
It was a big hit on UPN too. It got some good ratings, even though it was cut.
Yeah, you just got some mother fathers and half the thing.
Motherfucker. Yeah, 105 F-bombs in this movie.
I believe it. It's all by Fred Williamson and Drew Down.
Many of the gang members were killed after they stopped shooting because the National Guard showed up.
So then the National Guard killed him? The way that the sentence goes, it's like, okay, they were killed because the National Guard showed up. So it was like, it was an execution squad? What are we, in El Salvador? Like, the National Guard showed up, all those gang members died. Godfrey was like, no, I'm an actor. The only reason they didn't kill Fred because they recognized him.
Yeah, that's Super Bowl I. He's a legend.
They're like, I can't shoot Black Caesar. But that stunt guy is never heard from again. He got caught in misfire.
You kill Foxy Brown, there will be riots.
Oh, I think Pam Grier was safe. As so was Isabel Sanford.
I'll sit you call their asses.
I'd be like, but Drew Down got by, escaped by the skin of his teeth.
Oh, that's a missed opportunity. Drew Down should have been castrated by Pam Grier like she did to the white dude in Foxy Brown.
But why would she need to castrate him? What's wrong with just killing him?
Just to make a point.
Be like, even I think most men would be like, that was a little too far, man. Like, he's already dead. What? You want to make sure nobody fucks him? His dead body?
I don't think anybody was fucking him to begin with. He's making up for his shortcomings.
It was Gary Indiana at the time. And he did have a velour jumpsuit.
And his last name ain't Jackson.
Well, he had good hair. He had that perm, baby.
He wasn't a Jackson, but he was nasty.
Hey, he could have. I'm surprised after that he didn't try to get into one of those California hood movies.
On a side note, I have no proof that any gang members were killed.
Okay, because I was like, so what you're telling me? Yeah, are we in fucking? We're living Salvador. Like, we should have been photojournalists after the film finished, so we could take pictures of the National Death Squad that killed all these gang members after the film. It was like, what was that? It was like Sea of Love. They gathered them all in one, and they just shot into it. It's like, you're a gang member, you're gonna have to die. Or come get your free pancake breakfast. That's poison. Hey, that's what
they extradited the Word Man back to Stop.
No, the Word Man was probably like Jim Brown. Like, soon as it was over, he's like, it's too dangerous out here. I'm going back to that where it's safe.
Yeah. Don't go to the South Shore.
He's like, I'm going back to Shaolin or going on tour with my brother, Method Man. I'm just like, that was just a weird drop. I'll never. It's just be like, I liked original Gangstas, but I didn't like what happened after original Gangstas. And the president called in that death squad. This is why there will not be an original Gangstas 2. Trump will be like, wait, they're all there?
Jesus.
Or let his new Homeland Security chief, who will be drunk. Like, oh.
Yeah, you thought Oliver North was bad. You just wait.
Yes, the worst part is that at least Oliver North can hold his liquor. So with this guy, it'll be like, oh no. That should have been like something you should do on a stage show. The Massacre of Original Gangstas. That should be your next story on the lighter. Go with the board them. Find out if it's true. Be like, oh, it says this on whatever site I saw this on. I decided to go in deeper. Unfortunately, it was true. You'd be like, this is one hell of a Black History Month.
Happy Juneteenth.
Exactly. The Massacre of Gary, Indiana. That's Civil War too. Be like the Massacre of Gary, Indiana. And then you play some Michael Jackson on the soundtrack.
They don't care about us.
And then you have the hero get off on a private plane again. Only it's not Fred Williamson this time. I'm just like, oh man, that was like, stop. Wrap up original Gangstas down here in the deep dive. So until next time, we bid you adieu.
If you like this review, please be sure to like and hit subscribe to be alerted to new episodes in the future.